It is a remarkable thing, really, to think that one of the most powerful forces in the ancient world, the very rising of the sun, was entrusted to a creature so small, not a mighty lion, not a soaring falcon, but a beetle, a humble dung beetle to be precise. This creature, often overlooked as it diligently goes about its earthy business, held a place of immense reverence in the minds of the ancient Egyptians. They saw in its tireless work a reflection of the cosmos itself, a story of creation renewal, life-death rebirth, all encapsulated within the shiny carapace of this industrious insect. It's a testament to the extraordinary observational skills of these ancient people. So, who was Khepri? In the grand theater of Egyptian gods, he played a very specific, yet utterly crucial role. He was the god of the morning sun. Not the sun at its blazing midday peak, that was Ra, and not the setting sun, which was the domain of Atum. No, Khepri was the god of the tender, hopeful moment of sunrise. He was the divine force that pushed the sun disk, the Aten, up over the eastern horizon each and every morning, ending the dangerous darkness of the night and bringing forth the light and warmth of a new day. He was the embodiment of new beginnings, of fresh starts, and of the promise that after every period of darkness, light will inevitably return. Khepri was often depicted in a fascinating way. Sometimes, he was shown as a simple scarab beetle. In other instances, he appeared as a man with the head of a scarab beetle. This striking imagery would have been instantly recognizable to any Egyptian. It linked the divine human-like form of a god with the earthly creature they saw every day. This was not a distant, abstract deity. This was a god whose physical manifestation was rolling a ball of dung right there in the path. This fusion of man and insect served as a constant living reminder of Khepri's power and his presence in the world. The scarab beetle Khepri, in the ancient Egyptian language, was seen as magical for reasons that go far beyond its association with the sun. Its entire life cycle was a source of profound mystery and wonder. As we have seen, the Egyptians observed young beetles emerging from the dung ball seemingly out of nowhere. This was not poor observation. It was a different way of seeing the world. To them, this was not a biological process but a divine one. It was spontaneous generation in action. Life, vibrant and new, was springing forth from waste and decay. This act of transformation was at the very heart of their spiritual beliefs. It was proof that life could triumph over death. This powerful symbolism made the scarab beetle an emblem of creation and resurrection. The very name Khepri, as we know, means to come into being. The connection between Khepri and the sun is one of the most elegant and poetic concepts in all of mythology. Every single morning without fail, the ancient Egyptians witnessed a miracle. The world would be plunged into the cold, dangerous darkness of night, a time when evil spirits were thought to roam free. And then, a faint glow would appear on the eastern horizon. The glow would grow, pushing back the shadows until a brilliant orb of fire and light ascended into the sky, flooding the land with warmth and life. For this to happen every day, it could not be random. It had to be the work of a god, the work of Khepri. They imagined Khepri in his powerful beetle form deep in the Duat. His sacred duty, take the dormant sun disk, begin the arduous task of rolling it up from the depths. The journey was fraught with peril. The underworld was filled with monstrous serpents and demons, most notably the chaos serpent Apep. Apep sought to swallow the sun and plunge the world into eternal darkness. Khepri's daily journey was a battle, a heroic struggle against chaos. Success was not guaranteed. Victory had to be won anew each day. The sunrise was proof of his triumph. The image of a beetle pushing the sun is profoundly evocative. It speaks of immense effort, relentless, steady work. The sun does not simply pop up, it is pushed, it is rolled, it is a laborious process. This reflects life in an agricultural society. Khepri was not a distant king. He was a worker, a laborer like them. The influence of Khepri and his scarab form was not confined to grand myths or temple walls. It really permeated every level of Egyptian society, becoming one of the most common and beloved symbols in their entire culture. For the average Egyptian, the scarab was a powerful emblem of good fortune protection, the promise of a new day. It was a pocket-sized piece of divine magic. You would find the image of the scarab everywhere, carved into furniture, painted on walls, and most importantly, worn as personal jewelry. An amulet in the shape of a scarab was more than just decoration. It was a source of strength and a shield against evil. Imagine a craftsman in his workshop in Thebes. He might have a small, carved stone scarab on his workbench, a silent prayer for a productive and successful day. A soldier marching into battle might have a scarab amulet tied around his neck. A woman giving birth would almost certainly be surrounded by images of the scarab. The beetle's symbolism was so versatile, representing creation, renewal, and protection. It was a universal symbol of hope. Nowhere was the symbolism of Khepri and the scarab more vital than in the context of death and the afterlife. For the ancient Egyptians, death was not an end, but a transition, a dangerous journey that, if navigated successfully, would lead to a glorious rebirth in the field of reeds. The entire process of mummification and the funerary rituals were designed to ensure this outcome. At the heart of this process, both literally and figuratively, was the scarab beetle. It was the ultimate symbol of resurrection, the key to eternity. The most important funerary amulet was the heart scarab, large, beautifully carved, usually dark green or black stone. The heart scarab's critical moment, the weighing of the heart. So the underside of the heart scarab was inscribed with chapter 30b from the Book of the Dead. The image of the scarab beetle is one of the most enduring and recognizable motifs in ancient Egyptian art. Its simple, elegant form lent itself to many artistic interpretations: miniature amulets, monumental sculptures. Common folk might have a small scarab molded from faience. Lapis lazuli, carnelian, amethyst, jasper, turquoise were also popular choices. The finest scarabs, destined for pharaohs and high officials, were crafted from solid gold or electrum, their polished surfaces gleaming like the sun itself. These were not just amulets, they were exquisite works of art, miniature sculptures showcasing the incredible skill of Egyptian craftsmen. The choice of material often added another layer of symbolism to the beetle's inherent power. Beyond personal adornment, Khepri and the scarab appeared in the grander artistic schemes of temples and tombs. In the tombs of the pharaohs, entire ceilings are decorated with complex astronomical charts and scenes from the underworld. The sheer number of scarabs that have been discovered, hundreds of thousands of them, speaks volumes about how deeply this symbol was ingrained in their culture. Each tiny beetle amulet tells a story of an individual's hopes, fears, and their profound faith in the cycle of renewal. When we look at a scarab in a museum today, we are looking at more than just an ancient artifact. So why, thousands of years after the last temple to Ra fell silent, does the story of Khepri still capture our imagination? Why does this image of a beetle pushing the sun continue to fascinate us? I believe the answer lies in its profound and universal symbolism. The story of Khepri is the story of hope. It is the story of renewal against all odds. This is a message that transcends time, culture, and religion. It speaks to a fundamental human need to believe in second chances and new beginnings. In our modern, fast-paced world, it is easy to feel disconnected from the natural cycles that so profoundly shaped the ancient Egyptian worldview. Yet we still instinctively respond to the symbolism of the dawn. A beautiful sunrise can still stop us in our tracks, filling us with a sense of wonder and optimism for the day ahead. In that moment, we are sharing an experience with the ancient Egyptians who looked at the same sun and saw the tireless work of Khepri. The beetle god gives a name and a narrative to this universal feeling. The story of Khepri also reminds us of the power of observation and the wisdom of finding the magnificent in the mundane. The beetle, with its precious ball of dung, teaches us that great power and profound meaning can be found in the most unexpected of places. The humble beetle continues to roll its message of hope through the ages,